viewers, once again, we've got another roadmap update. This is part 2 of the first roadmap for Train Sim World 3. This one will be one video because it's not as big. Alright, let's go. Now, it comes out on September the 6th. Yes. Talks about part 1. We don't care about part 1. We've already done that. So, features. There's a lot to unpack with various new features making their way into Train Sim World 3. So we've asked the team to tell you a bit about the things we think you're going to enjoy. I've got the hiccups, sorry. To make navigation easier, these are split into sections so you can explore what you're interested in. Dynamic weather, updated lighting, visual effects, training center, audio, and characters. And we'll go into more detail, blah, blah. Dynamic weather, we've all been looking forward to this one. Whilst dynamic weather has technically been part of scenarios since Train Sim World 2's launch, Train Sim World 3 brings this into the world of timetable mode, allowing you the opportunity to have a different experience every time you drive. Keep on your toes, as the next shower is only a matter of time away. Once you become familiar with a route, it can sometimes start to feel a little too routine. I guess that's why it's called a route. When undertaking timetabled services, we have always sought to vary the experiences the route offers through scenarios where adverse weather conditions can create additional challenges. But again, once you'd played that scenario, you knew when the weather would change. It's wet. It's a javelin. Changes in weather while you're operating your service have long been requested by the community, and we agree that the addition of dynamic weather patterns will remove the sense of routine service. While we still offer the fixed weather option for those who have preferred conditions in which to drive, the addition of dynamic weather should greatly aid the sense of immersion you already get from Train Sim World 2. So, trying to make everybody happy. Does look pretty nice, doesn't it? Bloom on the signals is a bit extreme, but apart from that, it looks really nice. Obviously, we're still trying to be as realistic as possible. It is highly unlikely you'll go from broad sunshine on a July afternoon to a blizzard. Should come to Melbourne, guys. But it is plausible for cloud cover to start to build before a few drops of rain to occur. Similarly, if setting off in the middle of torrential rain, it's now possible the line starts to dry over time. The entire purpose of this edition is to give you more to react to. If this is the kind of challenge that appeals to you, you'll now select the month in which you're operating your service and be treated to the weather you will need to adapt to. For more favourable conditions, the summer is your friend. To increase the challenge, try the dead of winter and watch the skies. Volumetric skies. The sky fills half the screen most of the time. You're operating trains in the sim, so it's been something we've tried to improve as much as possible since the original launch of Train Sim World. Whilst new skyboxes have helped with immersion in recent times, we wanted to do something altogether more impressive for Train Sim World 3. Volumetric skies. When we upgraded to Unreal Engine 426 last year, this brought with it the opportunity to use its new volumetric sky system. This brings true 3D clouds to the skies rather than 2D textures, Simpsons clouds, that we've historically used. As we investigated the possibilities, we became more and more excited at what could be achieved. It fast became one of the priorities of Train Sim World 3. Sunrise. Or sunset. Could be either. Bloody impressive, though. I like the way the light is falling on everything. Everything has got the right lighting for that time of day, not just the clouds. The clouds do look pretty cool, though. The technical art team spent a lot of time rebuilding the whole sky environment to bring the UE4 cloud system. Then they had to undertake a lot of additional work, making in-depth core UE4 game changes to fix a number of display issues, as well as optimizing how the system works so we could bring the whole system to Gen 8 platforms as well. Yeah, a lot of the player base is still on Gen 8, unfortunately for them. It's still bloody hard to get a Gen 9 console. Looks nice, doesn't it? That'd be the Ice 1 too. As well as the clouds themselves, part of this project worked on how to bring them to life by casting shadows on the ground. We felt it would create a more varied experience as well as add more immersion to the journey if you saw the clouds not only in the sky, but casting shadows on the ground as well. Previously, the environment would simply dim the entire ambient light based on the state of the cloud. Now, as you drive, you'll go through the light and shadow depending on the state of the sky above you, which makes a tremendous difference. Yeah, the shadows playing across the train and across the cabin landscape. Very cool. To make reflections and general ambient light match a constantly evolving scene, the time of day is changing, the skies are moving, your train is moving, etc., we had a system in place previously which periodically would capture the scene to power things like ambient light and reflections. While this meant that the general scene always kept up, it did result in some sudden transitions if the difference was a lot compared to the previous capture. And this was why you'd suddenly see the scene get darker or lighter periodically. You know what, I've often wondered about that. We've updated how this works using real-time skylight capture system in UE4 now, and this allows the updates to happen far more regularly, keeping the differences much smoother, avoiding sudden and jarring transitions. It also means those lovely clouds in the sky should match up more closely with what you see in the reflections in the windows. New lighting. With the new weather and new skies, it was only natural that we try to tackle an area which we know you've been providing us with a lot of feedback recently: lighting. This is no easy task, and we hope as we're able to show you more of Train Sim World 3 gameplay, you'll recognise the vast difference this makes to playing the game. Alongside the clouds, the team also wanted to make a big upgrade to the lighting system in Train Sim World. Previously, the system had been built around a more visual, this looks good approach, literally configuring lights based on their visual look until things seemed right. This obviously came with challenges. The sheer amount of things that can interact with light, consistency, subjectivity, that doesn't even consider that when approaching problems, the underlying issue could be one of a number of different things. While you can apply a number of fixes to correct it in every scene you're looking at, you can then find it doesn't look ideal in other lighting conditions. This approach has been a challenge for the whole team to deal with, and was one of the main reasons that the technical artists wanted to address it. It's been by far one of the biggest challenges for Train Sim World 3, and has involved completely scrapping the entire lighting system and starting from scratch. Doing so has enabled the team to build a new system that uses a realistically physically based lighting, or PBL system. A comparison between lighting in Train Sim World 2 above and Train Sim World 3 below at St Pancras. So that's after, and that's what we had. What we've got now. Cool bananas. We've been able to take real-world data from how bright various light bulbs are, how bright a station should be, and then match it within the game with realistic lux, or luminosity intensity values for the sun, train headlights, and platform lights. Yay, proper train headlights! We can then combine these together to make something which we think is a huge improvement. The result is brighter brights, darker shadows, better contrast and colours that really pop. It's also allowed Unreal's eye adaptation feature, which simulates the iris opening and closing in light and dark, to really work much better. You'll find your eyes adjusting to the dark in tunnels so you can see better, and then a light flare will hit you when a bright sunlight fills your screen as you exit the tunnel, with your eyes readjusting again moments later. This is probably best illustrated during our announcement stream, and there's a link. Blasted by light. And then your eyes recover. This too has required extensive work modifying the core behaviours in Unreal, as the light level inside some trains is somewhat darker than the scorching sun outside on some routes. This means that the standard eye adaptation brightens the scene to cope with the darker cab interior and completely blooms out the outside view from the cab. We've been able to apply some new behaviour to eye adaptation to cope with this situation now, so it'll give you the best effect depending on what you're trying to look at now. Really pleased with the end result. As part of doing the work with eye adaptation, we identified an issue where it would get stuck and need the player to look at bright or dark area for a moment to trigger it to reset. And the solution for this was ultimately found in the Unreal Engine 5 codebase, so we brought that fix forward into Train Sim World 3 as well. So that's what we had. This is now. It's quite different, certainly brighter, certainly colour. The major challenge with the new lighting system was considering Train Sim World compatible add-on collection, previously called the Preserve Collection, which have all their in-cab screens, the train lights and so forth, all tuned to the old lighting system. It's a non-trivial task to upgrade routes and trains to the new system, but we know players will still want to bring their TSW3 trains onto their TSW2 routes, and TSW2 trains onto their TSW3 routes. So we had to come up with a solution. So whilst TSW compatible content will not receive the new PBL lighting system, the new system will now detect various types of light and automatically adjust them to fit the lighting system they're running in. While this will not always result in perfect lights, it means the entire collection is cross-compatible on day one.